Welcome to Technado with Don Pizzette, featuring sysadmin expert Don Pizzette, security specialist Daniel Lowry, and Peter.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Technado with Don Pizzette. It is the last of 2021. I'm your host, Peter Van Rysdam, and I am joined by the one and only Don Pizzette. Don, how you doing today?
I am doing, well, I'm going to say I'm doing great right now, but I know we're looking back at some of our past predictions, and so things might get a little dicey here.
Yeah. And Daniel, how's it going over there?
I am not unwell, thank you.
Perfect. All right, that's good. Is that a double? That's double.
That's a double
moment,
negative.
yes.
And you hear that? Those beautiful tones. That is Wes Bryan joining us again. Wes, how are you?
Nails on the chalkboard. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to not making any commitments for 2022.
Perfect.
I thought it was a screaming goat.
Wes is here. Do I have the screaming goat here? Wes is here not only because he was. Oh, there it is. He was
just like Wes.
It's awesome. Absolutely.
It's like I'm listening to a perfect facsimile of Wes telling me things.
He was sitting around with nothing to do, but also because we had him on last year for this same show when we talked about our predictions for 2021. So we want to bring him back and see how bad they were. And that's what we're going to start with. So we're going to look back at our predictions last year that we made at this time for what's going to happen in 2021 and see how close we got. So let's just jump right in and start with, let's look at Don. So we broke our projections into two things, your hardware prediction and then your buzzword of the year prediction. So we're going to start with looking at Don's hardware prediction for 2021.
I think I'm as likely to be wrong as right on this one, but I feel like Apple has kind of lost their way a little bit, and they rolled out those new processors, and they're really pushing that integration between their desktop and their mobile devices that I would not be surprised to see touchscreen Macs at the end of the year.
Interesting.
They've been anti-touchscreen just because other people have done it, but I think they can only resist that so long, and if they want to port those iPad apps over to Mac OS like they've been doing, I think they're going to need those touchscreens. So I feel like this might be the... Yeah, so that one's it's a double failure, right? Because we didn't get touchscreen Macs, and they haven't made it generally available for running iPad apps on macOS either, which they said they would, but they didn't.
And they still say they will, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which the last time they did something like this, where they dragged it out for a while, they ended up not releasing it. Like when they were doing, it was the weird charging stand for the iPhone and AirPods. Remember, they dragged that out for a year and then ended up not releasing it. So my confidence is pretty low that we'll ever see iPad apps on macOS.
All right.
Don's heart is broken.
That's not your prediction for next year.
No.
We'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, so we're 0 for 1.
Don's going to predict that they won't do those things.
Yeah.
There we go.
And that's why they'll do it.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a look, Wes, at what you had to say at this time last year.
Yeah, I'm thinking exascale computing.
What does that mean?
So one quintillion, I believe that is. Quintillion? So
I think we got that.
I can't even say it now. Quintillion floating point calculations per second in our supercomputers.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So that would only be
I think we're at
something that's happening-
petaflop now, but I think we're probably going to see somewhere in 2021, we'll see it go up to the next larger category.
All right, so I don't know whether or not to press the wrong answer or
I
the
think
right
it's going to
answer.
be a boo.
Because I didn't understand those words when you said them there.
I think it's going to be a boo. It didn't happen. Just like when we'll get a fully functional quantum computer.
Ugh,
Never.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
It kind of depends on who you ask. Some people
This is
claim.
true.
Yeah.
Good
By the way,
marketing.
that whole thing I just watched reminded me of that Debbie Downer sketch from... It's official. I'm Baron. Boom, 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 boom.
You're forgetting about feline AIDS. Fantastic sketch.
There it is.
There it is. All right, Daniel, you got lucky last year because you were out that week.
All my predictions were right.
Yeah, so you get to tell us now what your predictions were for last year.
My predictions last year were M1 chips. What else did I predict? I predicted Log4j, RCEs.
Saw that coming.
The M1 chips were already
U.S.
announced,
East
'cause Don had
outage
mentioned
of
that.
Amazon due to their own coding errors. Man, I just was rolling them.
I feel like that's a gimme, that last one. You could do that for every year. All right, well, let's talk. Even I got in. I that knows very little about tech got in with my own prediction. So let's see what crap I came up with. So mine is kind of related to the whole teleworking thing. I feel like after this year, I think a lot of companies, teleworking is going to be here to stay and work from home. And we had something in my old company that was really weird. It was this iPad on a rolling stand.
Oh, yeah.
You've probably seen those before.
The remote presence box.
But they were so expensive back then. I mean, it was like $5,000 or something. And we had it so people could, remote into our office that worked in another office that we had. And it just sat there in the corner collecting dust. But I think next year you're going to see a kind of a new line of virtual presence things, whether it's I've seen ones too that sit on a conference table and just can kind of spin.
Do you remember the movie Demolition Man?
Yeah.
When he's in the conference room and everybody's on, and the chairs all turn.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
And when they realize he sees them, they all turn away. Yeah.
Once again,
that didn't happen. Those
I didn't see those. Yeah.
They're still sitting in a corner collecting dust, just like they were a year ago.
This is why I don't do predictions.
Well, nobody's interviewing Snowden, so they don't need those.
Yeah, we've already heard from him enough. All right. Well, we failed on those. 0 for 3.
Yeah.
So I really look forward to us doing predictions here in a second.
It's gonna be great.
But
Yeah. You certainly want to build your budget around what we say.
Yeah. NFTs is what I said. That'd be the future. All right. Well, we want to look now at what we thought the buzzwords would be for 2021. So let's start again with Don. So do you remember what yours was?
I don't remember what my buzzword was.
All right. Well, let's
hopefully
hear
it was AI or something.
Let's hear the wrong thing that you said back then.
All right, you know how we have platform as a service and infrastructure as a service and software as a service, so SaaS and PaaS. And
I do like IaaS.
IaaS, yeah. So I'm going to go one extra A on this. I'm going to go for AAAS or AS, which is going to be, you have to say it like that. It's going to be antitrust as a service. I think 2021 is going to be a big antitrust year, and the U.S. government's going to have to set up a cloud platform to be able to. All right. It is a big year for antitrust. Google, Facebook, Microsoft, they're all in review for antitrust suits. The suits haven't been filed, though, so you could argue that my timing was off, but it was a big year for antitrust.
As a service, though?
Well, no, so the government hasn't set up the platform for it yet.
Okay.
I still think that's coming.
You're going to roll that into your next year. Double down.
Yeah.
Go with next year. All right, Daniel still had no buzzword prediction.
I went with AI, ML,
You did. I figured. Okay. And
I'm like the Nostradamus of tech buzzwords.
Keep it vague enough, it doesn't matter.
Sure. Yeah. All right, let's have a look at what Wes came up with for his buzzword of 2021.
I think I'm going to go with Tablephone. Yeah, we'll just mix a laptop, a tablet, and a phone all together. And instead of calling it a phablet, we'll just say, well, let's just call it a Tablephone.
So he's kind of right about that, though, because those folding phones.
Yeah, we got folding.
Yeah,
kind of tablet phones.
Is it a Motorola? No, is it Samsung? Samsung has one, right?
has one. Yeah.
Several of them do, yeah.
Well, I mean, he was saying that that's kind of like laptop tablet phone. Like,
That
I mean, if you had a
unfolds up
big
and you
one,
can
yeah,
have
I
a
understand,
keyboard
but
too.
it's not big enough where you could like have two hands on the keyboard.
Maybe you can.
You know,
Man, you guys are great. I'll just watch you debate whether I was right or not.
Yeah. What do you think? You think you were right?
No commitments.
if we go back to that time, though, like Microsoft had just announced the Microsoft, was it the Neo or Duo?
The Duo.
Yeah.
Where
The Duo.
not the phone one, but the one that was a little bit more like a
like a
laptop,
tablet.
but it could
Yeah.
be a phone. And so it effectively was a tablet phone, but they canceled it.
And with the, I mean, so much of calling these days now is like Teams calls and things like that.
Yeah.
So what is a phone? That line's kind of blurring.
So does it still count if it comes out in Q1 and it's burnt by Q2?
Yeah.
Okay, just
There you go.
Well, it's a
There we go.
buzzword. I don't know if that makes it a buzzword. Well, I'm running out of wrong answer sounds, so let's go with that.
Hey, that'll work.
All right.
That's funny. He didn't push any buttons on the iPad.
No.
He did. I did see him lean a little.
iPad's broken.
He leaning a little.
All right. Well, I had a buzzword prediction as well. Let's have a listen. Mine is six-factor authentication. So I feel like we've talked about 2FA and there's MFA, but I think specifically 6 is kind of that magic number. Like that's kind of where we've settled with the number of blades on a razor for men is around 6 now, and I think so. You'll have let's see, the one finger doing your fingerprint, the other finger is typing in your password, then your voice is saying the code that was texted to you, and then the camera is scanning your face. So what is that, 4?
That's 4.
Your mother has to call in and confirm that it is you, And then the fingerprint scanner is
Stool
also
sample.
pricking your finger and taking a blood sample.
Ah, very good. Vascular pattern recognition.
Yeah.
There we go.
In all seriousness, I think multi-factor authentication, which that is a buzzword in IT, but I think that's kind of word that your parents are going to be saying, hey, did you hear about this multi-factor authentication we have to set up now? And because I think you're going to have to do it for
Everything.
your Google account. I mean, right now they ask you, but I think by the end of the year, we're going to be... See?
Yep, that's a winner.
I'm going to go ahead and do that one little part of what I said.
None of the Being Right Club. That's fun to be here,
Right? Yeah, me and Daniel.
It's lonely over there, isn't
We
it?
know our technology or something. But yeah, I was wrong on the whole 6-factor thing specifically. But specifically, Google has come out this year and said that you have to turn on multi-factor. You had a little bit of a time frame. I think we're still in that window. But I would say that my parents know what MFA is by now.
Yeah.
I
That's
get these
that,
texts from the bank.
That's that rock star, right?
Yeah. Yeah, MFA. Had that concert the other day. All right.
Kids.
Well, let's take a look. We're recording this. Yes, we are recording this, so we will have our predictions for next year in the book. So, Don, let's start with you with your technology prediction. What is going to be the big tech next year?
All right. Well, for 2022, I predict that it is going to be a big year for Ubuntu Linux, right? So it's time for another LTS release, Ubuntu Linux 22.04. It'll come out in April. That's their next LTS release. Their partnership with Microsoft is doing great. They're in Azure. Amazon has the AWS Linux AMIs that, not their official ones, those are based on CentOS still, or Fedora, but they're certainly available to be used there. I think it's going to be a big year for Ubuntu. I think Canonical's got some good stuff in store. They've been trying to recover from all the missteps they had with Unity, and I think it's going to be a big year. So I'm curious to see what all they'll do, but I think it's a company to follow.
And there were a lot of people leaving CentOS, right, because of the things they changed. So maybe there's kind of that window opened.
Yeah, if you want a free Linux distribution but still have the ability to get commercial support, really, Canonical is kind of at the top of that pack right now.
Are they publicly traded?
I don't know.
If they are, I'm going to go buy stock.
I don't know. I know they're not like they're still independent. Like they're not owned by somebody bigger, but they might be publicly traded. I don't know.
All right, Daniel, you want to go next?
Sure. My I had a good time trying to find, because like I said, I really don't like doing predictions, because if I knew, I would go buy stock in Canonical or whatever the hell, and so peace out for everybody.
Based on Don's track record,
They'll
do
be-
not
yeah,
buy
won't
it.
be doing that.
absolutely.
I don't know if they're traded or
So
not.
my thought was, with the invention of with Meta, right? We got Meta now and no longer Facebook, and the Metaverse and all that. And people are kind of like, they're interested in this. I feel like it's going to continue to grow and move, and other organizations are trying to do similar things, that there will be a type of metaverse cybercrime, right? That inside those virtual realities and augmented reality systems, that people will start to take advantage of them in some way, shape, or form, either through...
People wouldn't do that.
I know, it sounds weird, but stick with me here. Historically, people are assholes. And, they like to find a way, especially if it's new.
Oh, you're correct. It turns out.
Judges?
Nailed it. No, I think you're right. We'll see how they'll find a way to profit there.
Yeah, because they're going to.
Yeah.
If Facebook's going to pump so much money into it, there's going to be money to take.
Right. And, what's the demographic of Facebook?
Idiots. Oh, sorry. Specific.
Yes.
Like age?
Yeah, but age.
What aged idiots?
Yeah. Right. And then a lot of scammers like to take advantage of the elderly, because they're not as savvy.
It's like people over 30, basically. They're like, that's the elderly.
Yeah. Man, you're almost dead, right?
But in the metaverse, my character will be a
what was the
18-year-old
Logan's
girl.
Run, right? When you turn 20 something, you have to die.
Yeah.
Classic. All right. Fantastic. This is uplifting. Looking forward to 2022 already. What do you got, Wes? What's your buzzword for next year? Or no, is it not your buzzword? This is your tech
prediction.
Everything's going down in a ball of flames? No, I can't actually predict that. I'd say it's smart cities and more integration of smart technology, especially when we see, it'd be easy to say, oh, well, it's going to be AI and machine learning. Well, we know that's going to advance, but I think we'll see more integration of just smart technologies like, energy, mobility, transportation, using things like big data to do predictive analysis and just find out ways that they can improve just general life in urban areas.
Interesting. won't affect us here in the country.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, I put my prediction for next year is fractional work, and what I mean by that is there's the whole gig economy. You know, people work for Uber, for Lyft, for DoorDash, those kinds of things. I think I've heard of people now that are working from home that are like, you know what, I slack off all this time. I don't have to tell my boss this. We talked a couple weeks ago about the mouse jiggling hardware that people can buy, so it looks like they're busy. Why not get 2 jobs? Why not get 3 jobs? And just see how far you can take this. And
by doing nothing the entire time.
Well, if you say, I'm going to put 2 hours to this today, 2 hours to this, 2 hours to this, just enough to get by. Maybe I get fired for one of those 3. Maybe the other 2 don't even notice. And I'm making that money. So fractional work is, or you could go the other way. You could say companies will start saying, hey, I don't want to pay your benefits, so I'm going to get you under full time. So I'm going to hire you for 20 hours, and you can go find another 20-hour job somewhere else a week. That might be the way it goes as well. But
so a few years ago, there was a guy who I don't think he got arrested. I don't think he actually went to jail though, but he had taken a job as a contract. I believe it was a government contract, but then he just subcontracted out to a guy in India to do the actual work. So he never did any of the work. It was, I believe.
And he went to jail for that?
He got arrested. I don't think he actually. He got
because are you actually
probation.
breaking any laws at that point?
Well, so the problem was it was government work, and he was outsourcing it outside of the country.
Maybe security
and so,
issues.
he broke some rules there.
But if you could do that in a corporate gig, man, you're
if you could say, hey, I'm making $50,000 a year doing this, and I can hire this guy for 20, and maybe I get 2 of these jobs.
I think
2 of these jobs.
It was a $120,000 contract, and he outsourced it for $40,000. So he was pocketing $80,000 for doing nothing.
Yeah, man. That's
and the guy making the $40,000 is probably doing pretty well.
And he was happy as crap, I'm sure. Yeah.
Busy.
I wouldn't be sure of that, but
he's happy as he's told to be. That's
happy as he's told to be.
Hired him. It's part of the contract. All right, let's move on now to our buzzwords for 2022. Don, take it away. I think it's a theme we've already talked about.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on Daniel here because Facebook, with their transition to Meta, they are pushing the metaverse, right? This online virtual world that we're all going to participate in now. I will tell you, if you have been following the world of 3D glasses and VR for the last, 60 years, it's one of those technologies that never catches on, right? Every 3 to 5 years, 3D or VR will pick up.
3D TVs, where are those now?
And then it disappears. This time, I think the VR stuff has stuck around a little bit longer than it has in the past because companies like Facebook are dumping money into it like crazy. Magic Leap was another one where investors dumped hundreds of millions of dollars into them, and they really haven't created a viable product yet. So it's kind of bizarre. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's a big, dumb waste of time, and we're not going to be doing a live podcast in the metaverse next year. That's not going to happen.
Oh, man, you're going to feel dumb.
It's
we're doing this podcast.
All right, everybody, get on your dragons. It's time for Technado.
But it's going to be a buzzword. We are going to hear about the metaverse until we're absolutely sick of it this year.
Oh, too late.
Yeah, we've already reached that.
It's happened. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Daniel, what do you got?
I came up with virtual interactive collaboration. Yes.
So you know what it means.
I hate doing predictions, so I just went to buzzword generator. And it generates.
Sad thing is, you got as much a chance as us.
That's effectively metaverse, right?
So, virtual interactive collaboration. Therefore, this is going to be a bunch of people getting together in the metaverse and collaborating on things, or in teams,
automatically generated by
Zoom.
AI.
Or whatever, because it's all virtual.
Cop out.
There you go. Hey,
Wes, what do you got?
I just want to put hyper in front of any word that we already have. Sure. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say hyper automation. We're already doing automation to begin with, but I think it's going to be at a much larger scale.
Hyper, even.
Yeah,
that sounds like they're going to take.
I'm just going to put hyper in front of it. Like we had converged networks, and then we had hyper converged networks. So I'm just going to say hyper automation.
Well, there you go.
It's just faster automation? Or?
Yeah.
With less Adderall.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Sit, automation, sit and stay still.
All right, I'm going to go with, I'm not sure if this is the actual word or if a new word will come up, but repairable, because we've talked about the right to repair over the last few months, laws coming out about that, Apple, making
Making changes.
some changes. Yeah, whether or not they're great, we'll see. Don, you've got the what is it called again? Framework laptop there. And who were you talking about that's coming out with something like that?
Dell's entering that space. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we will see maybe the life of our devices last a little bit longer, and things will be repairable and modular, configurable.
We could be more negative on that and say that the devices aren't going to last as long.
Yeah.
Because now that we can repair them, we won't feel ripped off when they break every other month.
Well, I'm sure they'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
That's how that works, right?
All right, is that everybody? We all go there?
We did.
All right, fantastic. Well, we've got some good predictions, some scary ones. People are going to be hacking us in the metaverse, it sounds like, but the metaverse will be real big.
I'm working on it.
So, yeah, you're already laying the foundation. All right, well, it's been a while since we've played one of our games, so we figured what a better way to end the year than playing a little game.
Shall we play a game?
One of my favorite 80s movies.
That's a fantastic
Yeah,
film.
that's a good one. All right, so we've done in the past, what have we done? Python, or Python, where it's Monty Python, the language, or the snake. We've done
Is it exploit or wrapper?
exploit or wrapper, band name, or Linux distro. And today we are doing a computer or military aircraft. It doesn't roll off the tongue exactly, but we're going to have some fun here. And I'm going to read you some names. You're going to tell me if you think it's a computer or a military aircraft. And so, for example, I would say Commodore 64, and you would, of
Aircraft,
course,
obviously.
say, well, I think there's a Commodore aircraft
flying
as well, so
Commodores.
that was not fair.
Absolutely.
That's why I didn't
There's
use that one.
64 of them.
There are 64 of them. All right, so we're going to start with the Falcon, and I don't know how to say this, the Falcon 030 or 030 or something like that, but Don, let's start with you. Computer or aircraft?
I'll go computer.
Daniel?
I will also go computer.
Wes?
I'm just going to be different. I'll go aircraft.
Okay. And that one is a computer, the Atari Falcon 030, usually shortened to just Atari Falcon, was released in 92, was the first personal computer from the Atari Corporation.
Wow.
So there you go. Included a Vidal programmable graphics system, which greatly improves the graphics capabilities.
Yep, and it became a cornerstone of modern computing. I think just about everybody owned one.
Oh, yeah. I had 3.
Took me a second there on that one.
It was a commercial flop, wasn't it?
I believe it says, this was not around a long time. I didn't.
Tens of them were sold.
Peter's now like,
Other place values.
One out from underneath it. Oh, yeah, it sucked.
Well, is that what the guy uses? We talked about the Dutch campground that used an Atari. That was one of your favorite articles
That was a cool
from last
article,
week.
yeah.
That's an Atari computer. I don't know if it's this one, but
It was not a Falcon.
the Falcon was where it started. All right, let's move on now. The next is the Mixmaster. So
The
this time,
Mixmaster?
the Mixmaster. Wes, we're starting with you.
Oh, I got the last one wrong. I might as well get this one wrong. I'm going to say that's a computer.
Okay, and Daniel.
I'm going to go with airplane because it sounds like it would not be an airplane called Mixmaster.
All right, Don.
Yeah, I can't think of what would have to go wrong to name an airplane Mixmaster. Although
This
you
is
wouldn't
where
have a
Billy got
computer.
too close to the props and it kind of, it mixed him up real good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go computer. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm guessing.
All right, that is an airplane. It's the Douglas XB-42 Mixmaster, an experimental bomber aircraft designed for high speed during World War II. It had 2 counter-rotating props in the back that would go, but the jet technology came out quickly, so they just had 2 prototypes, and then they put that in the
It was designed by Sir
Scrappy.
Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah.
Mixmaster Mike,
yes.
so DJ from Beastie Boys. All right, next up we have the Electra. So Daniel, let's start with you.
The Electra is, I'm going to go with airplane on this one.
Okay.
I don't know, but I'm going
Don?
with
Computer.
Okay, and Wes?
Yes, I am.
Are you Googling?
You Googling it?
No.
Looking down at your laptop.
Googling Mixmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm looking at Sir Mix-a-Lot here. No, I'm going to say a computer.
Okay. I thought you guys might know this one because the Lockheed Model 10 Electra is American twin-engined aircraft, but it is famous because it is what Amelia Earhart flew on
Interesting.
her ill-fated mission, the Electra.
I thought the Mix-Match was like an
Real-
Abrams knockoff.
Rising endorsement of that plane.
Crappy plane.
If you want to be lost into the annals of history and never seen again,
No GPS.
the Electra.
So far, Daniel has 3 points. Wes has no points.
That's awesome.
And Don has 1 point.
1 whole point.
All right, let's move on to the Brasov Cobra.
You're not going to play?
No, I wrote these.
He knows the answer.
Brasov Cobra. And Wes, you said it, so let's start with you.
That sounds like an aircraft.
Okay. And Don.
It sounds like an airplane, so I'm going to go computer.
Okay. And Daniel.
Behind the same exact logic, because it sounds like an airplane, so I'm going to go with computer.
The Brasov Cobra is a clone computer made by communist countries, in this case Romania, based on the British Sinclair ZX Spectrum. So Brasov was the city that it was made in Romania. So
I think I should get a point just for consistently being wrong.
Yeah, continue to do it. All right.
That's right.
The Rabbit RX-83. Rabbit RX-83. Daniel.
That is a computer.
Okay, John.
Right?
I think I'm going to go airplane on that one.
Okay. And Wes.
I'm going to keep with 0, so I'm going to go computer.
Computer. Well, I am sorry, Wes, but you are correct.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that is produced in Hong Kong by the firm Rabbit Computers. Has such little
You guys don't got
memory.
a Rabbit? Come
just
on.
2K.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I thought it was like a little car.
Just 2K
diesel.
of memory.
2K.
That
All you need.
Many of the video modes of its clones could not be used. It was launched in 1983 at the Consumer Electronics Show, costing just $99 at the time. I thought the 83 would tip you off that it was computer.
Yeah.
It's like okay. Like the TI-83.
You
Classic.
think way too highly of us.
Apparently, or you might think I'm thinking backwards, and that's gonna, okay.
You can look at my track record. You know you were.
You're coming up though. Real
There
quick.
we go.
Yeah.
All right, we have the C-82 packet. The C-82 packet. What do you got, Don?
I have no idea. I've never heard of that one. I'll
That's
go
the roll.
airplane.
All right, and Daniel.
Whoa, C82 packet. What the
Say
heck?
snake.
I will go with a computer because I have no flipping clue.
Okay,
Don't you
and
know.
Wes.
I'm going to go with airplane because if I say everything is an airplane, I'm bound to get one right.
So I had that strategy on Python one time.
Oh, it
did
didn't
not
work?
You did better
You should've
than
told
our
me that,
Python
Dan.
expert, though, in that one, Michael Kennedy. All right, the C-82 packet is a twin-engine, twin-boom cargo aircraft designed and
Good
built
job.
by Fairchild. It was used briefly by the U.S. Army Forces and the successor of the United States Air Force following World War II.
Did you say a Charlie's Angel used it? That wasn't Morgan
I don't
Fairchild.
believe I
that you
said that.
mentioned, right?
No, Fairchild was the manufacturer.
Oh, that's just making sure.
Yeah, I
didn't
thought the
know-
word packet would make you think computer, and not airplane for some dumb reason. All right, next up we have the Goblin. The Goblin. So let's go, Wes.
What color is it? No, just kidding. I'd say
Not
computer.
good. All right, you were saying computer, and Daniel.
Computer sounds good.
All right, Don.
It's just called the Goblin. That's
Goblin.
it.
Called the Goblin.
Goblin.
Well, there might be numbers, but maybe they give away
Made
too
by
much.
William Defoe.
Oh, so we just get part of the name.
Sometimes. I mean, that's what it's known as. People know it as the Goblin.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll go with computer on this one.
All right, so is that all three said
Yeah.
computer? All right. The McDonnell XF-85 Goblin is an American prototype fighter aircraft conceived during World War II, intended to deploy from the bomb bay of a giant B-36 bomber as a parasite fighter. It was to defend the intercepting aircraft. They built 2 prototypes, and then were like, this sucks. All right, score-wise, we got...
you named it the Goblin. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, sit in this thing. We're going to drop it out of our aircraft. But only if we're attacked.
Yeah.
So have fun.
Everybody just flew away.
That'd be perfect for
The
Indiana.
goblins left.
It'd be perfect for Indiana Jones. Fly, yes. Land,
Land, no.
No.
Yeah. This is take off, no.
No.
You better know how to land if you want that goblin back. All right. Next up is the Dragon 32. Dragon 32. Let's go quick. Don, what do you got?
Sounds like a computer to me.
Okay. Daniel
Airplane.
and Wes.
I was going to say sounds like a cousin to the warthog, so I'm going to say plane.
All right. The Dragon 32 and Dragon 64 are very, very similar to the TRS-80 color computer.
There
you
They
go.
were produced by the European market by Dragon Data in Wales.
Trash 80.
All right. Shooting Star. Let's go, Daniel.
Airplane.
Wes.
That is a horrible airplane name, which is why it's right.
And
What happened to Billy? Well, you see, he got in a shooting star.
Yeah, you see that little line?
He's still going. I mean,
Daniel is flying tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride the airplane train.
Airplane.
There we
All right.
go.
You are all correct.
Hey.
The Lockheed P-80 Shooting Star was the first jet fighter used operationally by the U.S. Air Forces. So you saw it a lot in Korea and at the very end of World War II. Terrible name.
Yeah.
But it was really fast. I think that's why. All right. Jupiter Ace. The Jupiter Ace. Let's go, Don.
I'll go computer on that.
All right. Daniel.
I like computer. I'll take it.
And Wes.
Yeah, it sounds like a mainframe or something. I'll go computer.
Wes, you can't gain points if you just go with what everybody else says.
I told you, if I was consistently wrong, I'm still right.
Well, you can't lose points that way either
That's
because
true.
you were all correct. The Jupiter Ace by Jupiter Cantab was a British home computer of the early 80s. It differed from other microcomputers at the time because its programming environment used Forth instead of the more popular BASIC.
That's
Whatever. All right, just a couple more left here. Aquarius. Let's go, Daniel.
This is the dawning. No,
That's
the
what popped in my head.
Aquarius. I'm going to go with computer.
Okay, and Wes?
I'm going to go the opposite just for the heck of it.
Sure, that's how you
Plain.
make points.
Yeah.
And Don?
I'm gonna go computer because it's just too dumb of a plane name. Right?
Shooting
we
star.
had the packet earlier.
I was gonna say, shooting star wasn't much better.
The Aquarius is a home computer released by
Whoa,
Mattel.
look at you guys.
Mattel. In 1983. Based
Fisher
on
Price, my first processor.
the Zilog Z80 microprocessor. The system had a rubber chiclet keyboard, 4K of RAM, and a subset of Microsoft BASIC in ROM.
And it had
Limited number of
wheels
peripherals.
with a red line.
It was discontinued in 1983, only a few months after its launch.
And does it get off center when you pull the string too hard? You know, they don't line up as they come around the circle? A different computer. Okay. I got you.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, next up is
Found the cause, like mesothelioma. So
Yeah.
took it off the market.
Yeah, there's going to be an ad for that. Did you have an Aquarius from Mattel? Call this number. All right, next up we have the Gremlins, plural.
The Gremlins.
Let's go with Daniel.
Airplane.
All right, Don.
They can't name an airplane the Gremlins,
But
right?
they can call them goblins, then there's going to be gremlins.
All right.
I'm gonna go computer on it.
It was
All right,
the
Wes?
South Korean.
How about a flying computer?
That's not fair. Not fair.
Okay, I'll go computer.
All right. The Dynetics X-61 Gremlins is an experimental unmanned aerial vehicle designed by Dynetics.
Oh, it's a drone.
Designed to be recovered in midair by a modified transport airplane following the mission, and they've made a couple. This is current, and in October of 2021, DARPA announced that a specially equipped C-130 Hercules cargo plane had successfully recovered a Gremlin from midair. Pretty cool.
And it caused
Interesting.
mesothelioma.
Billy, grab that plane. It's coming. Throw your arms out.
He's like, hold on, I gotta get over this mesothelioma I got as a kid. From that
All right,
weird computer.
it is still anyone's game except for Wes. So let's do the last three. We'll go quick. Next up, we have the Micro B. Wes, it doesn't matter, so go ahead.
It's a computer.
All right, Daniel.
Airplane.
Okay, and Don.
I'll go computer.
All right. It is designed in Australia and originally sold as a kit in 1982. The original Micro Bs ran at a clock speed of 2 megahertz.
Nicely done.
With a video dot clock of 12 megahertz, which was sufficient to display 512 by 256 resolution.
Well, there we go.
On your TV.
I thought for a second you could say, is it like a home-built plane?
Yeah, home-built plane. In military aircraft.
You should have found a computer that's in an airplane, and
So, yeah,
There we go.
I don't think
then
that
either
exists.
would have been right answers.
All right. Next up is the Amber Pegasus. Amber is spelled with 2 A's. AA. The Amber Pegasus.
Amber with a Z.
Yeah,
Let's go.
airplane.
You want airplane?
Yeah.
All right. And Don?
Computer.
And Wes?
Amber is not a good color for a plane, but I'm going plane.
That is true. But the Amber Pegasus is a home computer first produced in New Zealand in 1981. Around 100 were sold.
Wow.
All right. Let's make the next one worth 5 points. And then that way Don could come back or Wes could make it to second. All right. The Grasshopper. The Grasshopper.
Oh, that's an aircraft.
Yeah, that's an aircraft. I'll say aircraft.
I'll go computer just so the game doesn't break.
So fine. Okay. The Taylorcraft L-2 Grasshopper is an American observation and liaison aircraft used by the Air Force in World War II. General Innes P. Swift, commander of the 1st Cavalry Division, coined the Grasshopper name after witnessing a bumpy landing.
His name was Innes
P. Swift.
Innes. Or Enos.
Yeah, or P. Innes.
Is it Innes or Enos?
Innis.
Innes, gotcha.
Innes. P. Innes.
P. Innes.
Private P. Innes.
Yeah.
Originally, until
Yeah,
he worked his way up to General.
General P. Innes.
No, P and that. All right.
P and this.
So this means that Don ended with 8 points. Wes with 9. Wes is in second
What?
place after that.
Wow.
And because I gave you 5.
You get 5
for that
points,
one.
yeah.
And Daniel ended with 16. So
Daniel killed it.
Wow, Dan, man.
That was our big one.
Dan, look
Good
in that
guesser.
rear view mirror. Don and I are dots.
Yeah.
I'm a super good guesser.
Yeah. Well, you kind of just going down the same theme seemed to be a smart move.
There you go.
You just can't change from that. If
Yeah. No, you
you're like,
gotta
I'm doing
lock
all
in.
this.
Yeah.
And then, no, let's do the other. No, it's not going to work that way. Hey, well, that was a great, fun way to end.
Absolutely.
2021.
If you say so.
And I'm glad we're having fun now because based on our predictions, 2022, horrible year.
Oh, yeah.
Filled with breaking computers and hacked metaverses.
Yeah. See that new virus that causes you to burst into flames? It's going to be
That's
great.
coming out in January.
2022.
You don't even have to touch anything.
Nope.
Just walk outside.
Thank you for joining us, Wes.
Absolutely.
And
It's fun,
thank you,
guys.
of course, to Don and Daniel. Real quick before we go, start off January with a webinar from IT Pro TV, Cloud Computing Confidential, Secrets to Leveraging the Cloud in Your Organization. That's Thursday, January 13th. Head over to itpro.tv/webinars to register for that and see all the past webinars that we've had from the past year, like the most in-demand IT jobs for 2022. Also, head over to technado.com and send us some feedback. Let us know what game we should play next or what stupid aircraft we should have used on this. You can also click that big orange button that says sponsored by IT Pro TV and get a coupon code for 30% off the lifetime of your IT Pro TV personal subscription. You can also request a team trial and find out all the great features available to teams from IT Pro TV.
I was hoping that the next webinar was going to be how to survive viral spontaneous human combustion.
We didn't make that one yet, but we
got to get on that.
It's put you in one of those fireproof suits and go through it.
I go ahead and volunteer Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to be the person in the suit.
Yeah.
Why aren't I in a suit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry.
All right. Well, thank you guys all. And thank you, all of you, for sticking with us for another year for some reason. And we will see you in 2022 on the next Technado with Don Pizzette.